Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to this Industry Connect session on behalf of School of Mathematics, Applied Statistics and Analytics. My name is Professor Sunil Shirvaikar. I am the Program Director of Statistics in this school. In this role, I head the Department of Statistics and also handle the placement activities for the department. So today's session is Industry Connect session is on topic jobs at risk or roles reimagined, the AI impact. So we have colleagues from industry who will be, we will be discussing together. So I will now hand over to Lavanya ma'am for further proceeding for introduction session.
Sunil? Hello. Yeah, thank you very much for this. Today we are going to discuss about the impact of AI, how it is going to help with skills and career transformation, how it is making you future ready, and also how we are going to adapt to the job scenario out there. With us today we have industry participants. We have Satish with us from Colgate Palmolive. We have Devesh, who is the CEO of Core Set Labs, right? Yeah. And we have Nandan with us, who is also from the data analytics industry. We have Shubhangi from the InsurTech industry, and your own Professor Sunil with us today. So our first question, which we would like all our participants to talk about, is what is the impact of AI? And we all talk about AI, ML, and all these new languages out there. So artificial intelligence as a whole is a part and parcel of your life now. So what has been the impact out there? Yeah, Devesh, if you can go first. Yeah.
Thanks. So AI is a new technology, but not really new technology, right? AI has been around for 60 odd years, but for most of us, it's like 3 or 4 year old since the advent of ChatGPT. Whenever a new technology comes, it advances in phases. It impacts, we are talking about the impact, right? So it impacts the industries in phases. The first phase is the hype. We call it the curiosity phase. When everybody wants to find out whether it works, how it works. And what we see around us today in most of these places will actually fall into this phase. The second phase we call as establishment phase, when the technology is actually used by industries to improve their productivity. Yeah. So this is the phase where the job impact happens, because it improves productivity, and so therefore some jobs actually get changed. But the most interesting is actually the third phase, and if you compare this with the IT progress of the information technology, then you will see that we are in the third phase now, which is disruption. This is where technology actually creates new industries. Okay, now IT was to begin with to improve productivity in industries. Today IT has itself become, probably in India at least, it is the biggest employer of people, new people at least. So these are the phases through which the industry goes, and we see that the impact of AI is yet to arrive. Okay, the industries are still in the curiosity phase. Though you will say that industries are using AI a lot, but actually that is not true. Actually, they are just beginning to test it out. Okay. Soon we will enter the establishment phase, where you will see the real impact on the economy as well as on the workforce. Then we will enter the third phase, where actually the number of jobs will increase, but there will be new types of jobs. So this is how we can think of the impact of AI on industry. How about you, Satish?
Thank you, sir. So I since come from an FMCG background, I always thought this might impact only some kind like production companies or service companies, but that's not true. When you say impact, it's also about taking it. Is it about making it better? Definitely it is. So how do you think about an AI? In my personal opinion, I would say uh, keep that as your friend. Offload some of your work which you have been doing, which the system can take care of itself, right? So you have artificial intelligence, then you can always think about actual intelligence. So yet here is where I would say make the agents AI allows you to do. I use an Android phone. It has Gemini, which is by default. Now, interestingly, very recently, what it did is I uploaded an image, sorry, a PDF file, and I said, "Can you give me the content of this?" So it converted into an audio. You can just plug in your earphones. On the way, you can actually understand what that PDF file is, and the they have a conversation between two people, right? It literally says what is there in that content. So, is it good? Yes, for people who don't want to read, go through the PDF files, it is useful. Similar is the use case when it comes to organizations as well. There are a lot of humongous, magnanimous data that it's there in FMCG world. Why do you want to actually process the way it is right now? You can actually take up something more important. And are you touching the bottom line of the organization where you're talking about what's that the organization wants? You can offload all this to AI. So when I see impact, I would say take the positive aspect of it and see from a view which says, yes, it's meant for a purpose. And as sir rightly mentioned, it's not new. It has existed in some of the other ways and versions. Now it is coming out big, and when it's there, it's better we, as they say, when you have a person who's more intelligent, then you work along with them. You don't go against them. So this is the phase where sir rightly mentioned how do we use this and how we make it better. That's going to be the most important thing.
Thank you. So you got a podcast instead of a recording. Yeah. What has been your view?
Sure. So I come from media industry specifically, but we cater multiple industries there, specifically into digital marketing or media analytics. And as rightly said by Satish sir, that the AI impact is slightly ahead of the hype, like where we are adapting, and that's true. Like still the enterprise level AI has not taken in. I mean, when we say enterprise companies take AI at their core, that's still not happening, and it will take some time. Why? Because AI is still learning, what you can say. Because let's take autonomous car, right? Imagine that that autonomous car kills a person or makes some accident, then the car is being banned, or the car has got like failed. So like in that case, the enterprise has to be very careful about their brand. Like, I mean, they have to make that perfect and bring it to the scale. Like if I take India as an example, we have such a huge population, and getting those AI applications up to the scale is again a big challenge. And when we say impact, I think, as Satish sir rightly said, there'll be more jobs created, the new more roles would be created. So I think making it as a friend, that is one part, and then reimagining what you can use AI to make your more productive, make your work more productive, is what I would say. So make AI as your friend and start taking its help. That's what my take also is.
Yeah, so I would just add one thing because all of the seniors sitting here have covered most of what the impact of AI has been on all our organizations. So I work in a startup. I'm in the insurtech industry, and we work very cross-functionally across all of the departments. We have to work very closely with each other because, yeah, there are just very few people involved. The main, what I see the most is that it's not just an analytics department or a data science department that has this massive uptake of AI. Every single department has started using AI. Design, product, sales, finance, all of them are using AI for all of the low-level tasks. Okay, so for me, if it's coding, right? Like, let's say coding is the main thing that I started doing. um, let's say that a lot of those simple tasks are now taken care of by AI, but that has now shifted, what that has shifted for all of us, let's say leaders of each of the teams, is that you go more into systems thinking, you go into prompt design, you think of these things. What are the questions that you need to ask to get to actually fit the answers that AI is giving you, or the solutions that can be easily built. So yeah, so I think it has enabled us all to go one step further, like Satish sir said, from the artificial you're going to your actual intelligence, and that is very empowering actually. So yes, it is something to be embraced.
So, Sunil, if you can give your perspective on what the industry is talking about AI and what is being done to bridge the gap, or is there a gap? Yeah.
The gap is like, we always try to bridge the gap even before when AI had not come. So, because naturally the industry is the end user for us as academic, and we have to serve that industry by making students industry ready. So in the process, when we get the feedback from the companies, then we work on it and try to give certain skills to the students, maybe introduce certain new courses. So it has been ongoing, especially in the last 3 years. Definitely, as we have seen the AI impact, the emphasis on coding has been tremendous. The expectations has been very high, and that is where we have introduced advanced Python kind of a program in addition to our standard base fundamental Python programming. So making students very fast and making an optimized code as expected by the industry to be, because even in the evaluations at the test level, they give this programming tests, and it's usually quite tough. So one our intervention to deal with this situation is in terms of programs. So we have introduced these new programs. Then we have introduced big data analytics as one program. We have introduced programming in detail. We have introduced many such programs to in the courses, and also communication skills is one part of the program, which is also very important for the students to really understand. And apart from that, I think storytelling with data is now becoming more and more important, because our students are very good technically, because our model is theory, case studies, practicals, projects, and internships. So they get trained onto the thing, and finally doing the last project part, they are able to satisfy. But still the most important part is when they go to the industry, how do they talk to the business teams? Business teams have certain expectation. So it cannot be just the theoretical thing or just on the back end side. They have to understand how they are going to use it. So this is where, sharing with the non-technical people becomes more important. And that is where the communication skill of converting those technical things into a simple language is very important. And that is where more and more now we are seeing storytelling with data is becoming more and more important. And another aspect which is also important is involving in the strategic decision making. So giving them some suggestions, giving business some suggestions about what can be done, or looking at the data and looking at various models. So these are the things we are trying to improve the students based on our academic inputs.
Thank you, Professor. Shubhangi was talking about that data, AI has impacted not only, data analytics, while IT part, it is impacting every single business environment, right? So in that case, students have to equip themselves with certain skills and, career transformation programs, and also they have to prioritize this. So what are the key skills that students should prioritize today if they wish to thrive in this AI-driven environments? I will go to Satish first, then Devesh, and go on. Yeah.
Again, skill sets are very much going to change. It's not going to be constant. So I come from a millennial generation, seen change in a very different way. There was a big pause without internet, and then nothing can work without internet now, right? So that's been a big change. We had some time to do that change management and sort of adjustment that happens by itself. Today's world, is it possible? I really doubt, because that's some kind of pressure that everybody lives in. So when you talk about skill sets, I would say when I was studying, my professor used to tell me, always remember there's one subject that's going to come with you throughout your lifetime is maths. No matter what, even if you don't do anything, you go to a shop and you want to do a transaction, you need to know your plus and minus. Otherwise, you're going to lose some money. So that remains the same even now. And myself as a person always thinks your basics have to be right. So mathematical tools like your algebra, your calculus, probability and statistics, your linear regressions, all these are something that you have to have today. Then whatever happens on top of that is incremental. So when we're talking about machine learning, your random forest, your decision tree, Arima, Sarima, all these things have an encapsulation of all the knowledge that you have. So I would say to have those machine learning models running embedded part of your AI, nothing will work without having those basics very strong. So every learning that happens from the institute needs to be there implemented, and then obviously you will have those tools which will allow you to leverage all these learnings into your AI and eventually get those outputs. So skill sets, when you see me sitting here, probably you might think this is something that the learning advice I'm giving you. Trust me, even I want to be a student at this point in time, right? Because so much is evolving so fast. Sometimes we feel we need to upgrade ourselves. We call it upskill in typical language in corporate. So that is also important for us. And I would say these are the skill sets which as of now are very much relevant. It can change at a very fast pace, which we need to be ready for.
Right. Yeah. So maths, we are sitting in a school of mathematics. So yeah, of course, that's there. But then see, there are going to be three kinds of professions in AI. Okay. The first are those people who will make AI. Okay. These are the people who are in OpenAI or in on DeepSeek, and these are, and this is where mathematics is obviously going to be a big thing. The second are the people who are going to apply AI. Right? So they have the models. Okay. So they are like those people in the Apollo 13 movie who were given a problem, and okay, these are the things that you have, and how now are you going to solve the problem? How are you going to fix the oxygen equipment? So they will have these models with them, and every day, as you know, a new model is appearing on the scene. So they are going to be the engineers. Okay, they are going to put this together and they are going to offer it to the users. The second type of profession in AI. The third is going to be everybody else. Okay, as Shubhangi rightly said, every person uses AI. Right from the person who is on the dispatch desk to the CEO, everybody uses AI. It's a pervasive technology. And so therefore, then what is the skill here? We're talking about the skill. We spoke about mathematics, we spoke about the ability to build systems, which are traditional disciplines, right? But the third one is something that I guess students will need to start learning from the early stage, which are things like critical thinking and problem solving, and these are pretty vague words. I mean, critical thinking. So if you think of, what is critical thinking? So first of all, it is thinking. Okay. So given, a problem like this, how do I use this for this? You have to first start thinking, right? And which is not something that we often do. And then you need to ask questions like what why and so on, or asking why 6 times or whatever number of times the method says. So, do all that stuff, but spend time on thinking, um, which will lead you to what? You are into some profession. Maybe you are a teacher, okay, or maybe you are a media person. So what are you going to use the AI for? So in every job, there are imperfections. Right? Have you ever come across something that is perfect? No. So there is too much work and too less time, or sometimes there is information not available. You need more information than what you have, and then the volume is just too much. Like Satish said, there are so many pages in a document, and then how do I read this? So there are going to be these imperfections in your work, whether you are a doctor or you are a teacher, and then you are going to apply AI to remove these imperfections. Okay, so this is the third type of profession in AI, for which you don't actually have to know mathematics, or you don't have to build systems, because it is already there. AI is with everybody. It is there in your WhatsApp as well, right? You have the Meta AI. But what to ask, how to ask, and how to get your stuff done is going to be a very important skill, which comes out of the ability to think and solve problems. So this is, what the skill that we all talk about, but not many of us actually acquire. So that's what we need to start doing. There is no option now.
Thank you, Devesh. Now, coming on to, can you give me an anecdote? Because they've already listed on many factors. I would love to, have our students talk about anecdotes on how you have, come across these.
Yeah, so I mean, one point just to say here is like, I call mathematics as bedrock of AI. I mean, simply saying that's necessary. The other things I would be very quick and short, like world is moving towards open source also, right? So you need to know Python, SQL as your base skills. And I think what Sir said, like that's been taken care in the institute, but that is must, because then you can either be a one who builds those AI models, that the first category of people, because that's where you could go be a engineer and build the AI models. The other one is like who are building the applications. So then I think knowing those skill sets would definitely help you to build the applications. That is the technical skill set wise. The other thing is, I would say storytelling is again essentially a necessary skill. You have a lot of data, but if you're not able to make sense of it, then what is that you're going to present? And when you go to the business, you need to explain about that data. So storytelling skill is what I would again have there. And lastly, having business acumen, what you call it as, like why are you doing that, or why are you particularly analyzing that data, or what is the output, or what problem we are solving, and understand why business is having that problem and trying to think in that direction. I think those skill will definitely help a particular person or a particular students to excel in their career. So that is my gist, like SQL, Python, knowing the storytelling, or how to visualize the data, make insights out of data, and then having business acumen is what I would touch base or have the skill sets needed.
I would like to focus on one specific thing, which is domain knowledge. I think in the analytics industry, we find ourselves skipping industries, doing multiple jobs over short-term periods a lot, because the focus is only on the technical skills. But I think from my youngish corporate experience, what I have learned is that I have been in the same industry for 5 years, and that is the single most important thing that has helped me like gain any sort of edge over any other engineer or anybody who is a coder or a developer. The thing that happens with data teams is that we are not really the biggest friction that I have come across in my experience is the friction between data teams and business teams, because we don't have the skills to translate the knowledge to the business owners, to other teams even. When I talk about data teams, which usually comprises of data scientists or BI analysts or data engineers, we are all very focused on accuracy and precision and numbers, and there's a lot of nuance in every data backed strategy that we come up with. uh, we are very scared to say anything with finality or make any sort of strong claims, because we know that the impact of that decision can change with the smallest of variables going here and there. But when it comes to business teams, and when I say business teams, I'm covering everyone: finance, marketing, sales, product, all of them. Uh, their goal is to keep the organization going. It's to bring in the revenue. They don't want to lose time or lose opportunities um, in handling nuance, and a lot of the times they need like solid decisions written down for them, okay? And this is where the friction comes up, because they know they need data to win, but the data that is presented to them comes with too many caveats for them to be comfortable. um, but I think that there is a huge golden opportunity here for data scientists, because once you sit with these people, okay, they are coming with their own unique set of skills, you are coming with your own unique set of skills. Once you sit with business people, once you sit with the product team, people who do sales, they are the most important part of any business. They know how it runs. Like you said, business acumen, all of that you can learn from all of these functions that you work with. So if you sit with them and you're open, and you're going with this open mind to understand what the business needs, what your org needs, what the org's goals are, in front of you, I think there is this big opportunity to create a spark for new ideas, for new implementations that can happen, which doesn't happen if you just sit with your data team and you're just sitting and cribbing about how other teams don't understand you. So the biggest thing to develop is domain knowledge and business acumen, and that comes by talking to people, by understanding people, understanding how people have been running the business through the years. And I mean, that has been extremely true for my industry, which is insurance. And insurtech has to build on the traditional insurance domain. There's not a lot of change happening in traditional insurance industries, which insurtechs are trying to break now. But that only comes if you understand how the insurance business works. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think from the skills point of view, as already mentioned earlier by me also, that we are already training students on the technical skills, like programming, be it programming or say SQL kind of a thing, or cloud computing kind of a thing, or even we spoke about this communication, data, interpreting for a non-technical person. These kind of skills are given to them. One of the important thing, I feel unique thing what we are doing in academics is we are having projects in each semester. If we talk a PG, for example, we have 4-semester program, but in first 3 semester, in each of the semester there is a project, and it's a group project, and which is of a topic which is taught in that semester, maybe statistics, mathematics, all the topics, and then an applied topic, which is where they may have to get the data, or they may have to collect the data, or maybe use Kaggle, whatever, but they will have to start from problem definition, business problem definition, and as a team work on all analysis and come up to a suggestive solution, and because they have done it for 3 semesters, they tend to have a good practice, and they really learn the team working, as well as they learn a lot of those skills like what we talked about, understanding the problem, and while they present and when it is evaluated by the teachers, when we ask questions, they understand that, okay, we didn't think this way and that way. So some kind of a thinking aspect also comes. So in the 4th semester, when they go live into the industry, they, with this maturity of project and with this maturity, they tend to do multiple projects. Of course, we are expecting one main project from them, but then industry gives them many projects. Most of the students do many projects, meaning 2 to 3, and also do many additional things. Literally like they do a kind of a job, while they are in college only, because their convocation is not over. But at the end of it, most of the students get a pre-placement offer because they have been satisfying the department which they are working, and they have been doing extremely good work. Of course, a lot depends on students also, because they are away and they are completely with the industry. And the industry gets an advantage because the same student can be, which they have seen working and contributing, the risk is very low, and they get, he or she can be absorbed in the industry. So, the domain knowledge which we spoke about, we also have certain, papers of domain knowledge for marketing analytics, on financial also. But certain knowledge comes by working on those projects as well as in these industry internships. And then over a period of time, once they choose the industry, the domain knowledge develops, because it is something which is, it comes through a longer range of time actually. So the students, at least our students are over the last 10 to 15 years, I would say, in this school has been doing well in terms of skill development.
I just had one point, sorry I missed. You all know, right, AI runs on computing, right? Like you need a lot of computing for that. And one skill definitely I would like to call out, everyone should know, is any of the cloud computing technologies, whether it is AWS, GCP, Databricks, Snowflake, whatever you take. I mean, one computing skill every individual should know, because then only either you can build those AI models, you could run different computing on that. And I think that is one of the key skill which also student have to acquire it. That's what I want to add here. Any computing.
Thank you very much. So now we were talking about the impact of AI. We talked about what are the skills that they need from the academic point of view. Let's talk to our future interns. They're all interns out there, okay? All students out here are future interns, right? I will ask Shubhangi to take this question first. Let's talk about what are the qualities that they need to fit in with an internship in a company. How are they bridging the gap with the academic studies, and what is that in the corporate environment? With your experience with interns with whom you have probably trained with or worked with, we would love to know what is that our students can expect for. Over to you.
The first thing I would say is stick to the basics, because when we do the course material that we are taught, if you are from a statistics background like I was, or even any sort of data science or programming course that you come from, you end up learning a lot of very complex ML models. You learn how to implement them and all that. But for me, whenever I've been handling a project, or whenever I've been handed over a project, the first thing for me to do is to go back to first principles thinking. And the first principles thinking always takes me to a simple regression problem. So that is where it all starts. Like Satish sir said, basic knowledge of probability and statistics, those are the things which you are going to be using every day, because let's say you have been tasked with building a dashboard. You are dealing with a lot of uncertainty, and you need to be, and you're handing over to business something that is extremely unpredictable. So the first thing is just, have a clean slate, think about what is it that you're answering, what is it that they are asking, because the algorithms don't matter at that point. The explainability comes from you approaching it from a first principles perspective. So get into the whys and hows of the question that is being asked. Start very simple. Most problems are handled by regression, if not linear, then logistic. So always start with, because most of the problems that you are handling are predictive problems. So, regression is what you start with. You need to be very familiar with all of the mathematical concepts. Like Satish sir said, you need to be clear about what calculus did. Most of ML problems are to do with optimization. Optimization has to do with gradient descent. Now, if you don't know matrices, if you don't know matrix multiplication, you're not going to be able to do any of these things. Similarly, even if you end up working on very complex deep learning problems, let's say, okay, where you're doing image processing and whatnot, again, the math will help you. But in internships, at least, usually it's not the case that you have to come up with which method to use to solve a problem. So that won't be a problem at first, because you just need to implement what has been decided. But yeah, always stick to the simple whys and hows, and know what you're doing, because only then you'll be able to explain it to other people. And that is where, forget about working with interns. I myself was in that position not too long ago. So this is where I know that people get stuck. You don't know why you're doing what you're doing. So. Yeah, it's not, yeah. It's usually, in a Monday morning meeting that you are asked to explain what dashboard you have built. And it feels very obvious to you that this is what it is showing, but it's not obvious to everyone. So.
I will pass this on to Satish. You were speaking about dashboards earlier. Yeah, give your anecdote, please.
I happen to work with a lot of internships. So there's something called as Campus to Corporate initiative that we have in our organizations, and I've been part of it for almost close to 2 years now. Again, I would say keep your basics simple. I still believe, this is my personal opinion, Excel was one of the best softwares that was invented. And it still is, maybe. And any dashboard that was built or any visualization tool that came up was more incremental and glorified version of Excel. That's my personal take. There's a caveat here, yeah. Having said that, when dashboards, let me come to the internship part first. So what is that is expected is, when I work with interns, I say, what is the idea that you have in your mind? Look, this is a system in place. We have been doing this for so many years. How is that what you have learned can be implemented here? So we are very receptive about the fact that you can do it. There is nothing called as internship that we think about in that point. It's like the idea that you can bring on the table to solve this problem. If that is there, that is your project, right? So we have a problem statement. Can you solve this for us? This is your project. But if you come with a thought process like, no, I want to do something that I've learned in AI or in ML, not necessarily you will always end up having that. And even if we have that, it cannot be for the whole population of internship that we have. So we have to address it in a realistic way, that what the organization needs is what you have to deliver at that point in time. This is one part of the story. When you asked me about dashboarding, yes. When we give, these are my experiences, so when we give some of the problem statements to students, they just run into all the visualization tools, all the ML models that they know, everything that they know. Look, I can do this. But my first question is, was it needed? Right? Could we had a simple VLOOKUP formula on an Excel? Right? First thing. And let's address the elephant in the room. Is the user ready to accept this in the first place? Do they want something? The change management is the biggest thing. So we are happy when students bring ideas, but is it viable at that point in time? That we need to acknowledge. That acceptance has to come. Though we are learning so much, I think it still starts from the basics. You still have to go through the Excels. You still have to go through the formulas. Then you eventually come to a place where the latest implementations are happening in the organization. And when you spoke about insights, yes, there are two insights that I specifically talk about. One is data insights and one is business insights. Many a times we tend to overlap both of this. That is not true. Data insights is clearly on what data that you're working upon. You cannot tell what business outcomes it can determine. There are different teams which will actually go and determine, because they are part of the teams on the ground, the sales, the marketing team. So those are different. So internship is, I would say, is a good journey to explore yourself, right? When you come come with your thought process, come with your ideas, see if there is a scope to implement, or else you always have a solution to give which is already in an existing model. That's my take.
Thank you very much. And I would like Devesh to take it as a business entrepreneur and also somebody who's been a mentor to many students. What is your take on it? Yeah.
On the internship question? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So here, yeah, like you said, I worked with a lot of interns and students in colleges, though more on the technology side. But yeah. So the first thing, take an internship which requires you to go to office. Okay. So that's the first thing. Okay. So because that's an experience, right? And you cannot have it from being at home. And once you are there, there are two kinds of things that you're going to learn. One is the work per se, and second is meta work, which is about work, which probably will be more important, because after all, what is the duration of internship? 3, 4 months, 6 months. Yeah. How much you're going to learn in 6 months? It is limited after all, right? But what it will teach you about the way work is done, the way companies work, how people interact with each other. So you go to any workplace and there are people who provide something to other people. Right? And then when this happens, this interdepartmental thing, there is a dynamics, right? There is blame, right? There is justification. And all these things are part of anybody who has worked for any amount of time would have experience, but not someone who has not worked. So it's going from one side of the river to the other side of the river. Right? And that is something that they should give a lot of importance to. About work now, there are two types of students, right? There are two types of interns and there are two types of people. One who are very good at their work. Okay, like we take a lot of programmers. We are a development company. So most people whom we take as interns are programmers. So there are programmers and then there are programmers, right? So there are some programmers who can actually do a lot of stuff. Most others cannot. Okay, so this is a normal rule. Now, you as an intern have to understand what you are. That's very important. Understanding your position in the world is most important, right? So you need to understand what you are. There is no point in disguising yourself as one when you are the other. So if you are the first type who can really, as she said, do the regression or any statistical modeling, or you can do programming, or you can do marketing. Depends on what background you are coming from. Then that is your strength and you should play to it. Okay. If not, but then everybody has the other kind of resource, which is time. For those people who don't have the requisite skill that point of time, they should put in time, as much time as possible. Be in the office for a longer time, spend more time in preparing for a meeting. So time is something that everybody definitely has. Okay, so you can adopt the right strategy depending on what you are. So these are some things which come to my mind for the interns.
Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, so I think some of the points are covered by the panelist here. Basics is necessary. The other thing is going to office and having that culture, going on those chai breaks, because that's also where you learn a lot of things, right? I mean, one is on the desk, you do your reports, you do your job, but when you go and do those gossips, you understand the culture, how others are there, how blame games are there, or that is also essential part in the internship. So learning having your basics strong, going to office, understanding that culture, sitting in office, even if you don't have those tasks, try and sit in office, learn something, grab the knowledge, and then later that knowledge definitely useful for you. Lastly, attitude, I would say. A person or a candidate should have attitude, always learning willingness, or that attitude, what you want to do. If that's not there, then it's quite hard for you to be successful. So have that right attitude is what I would say. So other things have covered, but these points I would like to add that student should have so that he can excel in his career.
Thank you, Nandan. Professor Sunil, over to you.
I think, as I have said previously, that over a period of time, we changed our academic structure to align to the industries and, make students to be used by the industry as a support for whatever work they are doing. And as, thankfully said by you, and because this also stemmed from the point of previous to this academic journey of mine, I was myself a user of interns, and I used to find a big gap in the interns, especially of the science, in the sense statistics, mathematics student interns. Those days, data science was not so evolved, and most of the time the issue was about communications, all what we spoke. Communication, business understanding, and domain knowledge, and all such things. And that is where, I also realized that there is a greater need for mentoring interns, especially in this science interns, and need to give them a proper understanding of the real life. And of course, the technical strong points are very important, as rightly endorsed by all of you. Statistical core and mathematical core concepts, the core knowledge of programming or related subjects, machine learning, be it deep learning, all that you have to be very good. But then when you want to now contribute and go to the industry, you have to have a good, EQ, emotional quotient, because it is different. They are expecting a professional output from you. They may not be teachers. You are on your own. Every day you are going there, morning, evening. You have to update your mentors properly. If you are taking leave late, you have to inform them. Can't take it for granted, which is extremely important. I mean, these are so basically how you take care of these 3-4 months of internship. So, and gradually the students, because we arrange these guest lectures from HR as well as our senior persons, the alumni also, to make them understand, because sometimes we say it, but it is best understood when it is heard from the horse's mouth. So and then so some students are fast to adapt, some students take time, but that is the way we sort of try to make the students industry ready, especially from an internship point, because for us internship, especially the industry last internship, so same thing now with BSc students also, we are migrating to the four-year module where there will be a full-time internship in the last 4th year. Like ready, if they don't get a job in that company, they are ready for other company. If they give interviews, based on the work which they did, the chances are higher that they can get the job. So at least in our school, our emphasis is very high in giving interns, the industry exposure.
Thank you very much. So now from our industry experts, we could understand it's a matter of having the EQ and IQ which you're going to put in your resume and take it forward, right? Now, coming on to the last question, we have a paucity of time. We will talk about how do we make our students future ready and adaptability. We've already discussed.
Say, like this is my advice to anybody who's entering the market now. Keep your eye out for non-traditional fields, because analytics is everywhere, data is everywhere, because data is everywhere. This shift has happened in the past 10, 15 years or so, but now you have AI as well. There are a lot of non-traditional fields which are using AI, which are integrating AI into their systems, fields which you wouldn't normally think of. Now, all your focus is usually on getting jobs in big tech companies, or it's finance at the most, if you're thinking of non-tech companies. But think of things which could have been your passion before, if you were not in this field, and think of how you can apply, use your skills in those fields. So it could be things like law. There's a lot of legal AI companies coming up right now. Think of yeah, sports management, sports analytics, supply chain. You have big tech companies in supply chain now, like Walmart and Target, and all of these people require a lot of AI analytics knowledge, and people who can implement systems there. Um, so yeah, so keep your eye out for things which are not considered traditional. Think beyond finance, insurance. There is even, so this is my personal anecdote again. When I was doing my master's, I did an internship with the Wildlife Conservation Society of India, because that is one of my core interests. And I ended up working with the data science team there to help build models for their anti-poaching campaign, um, where we used a lot of social media data. We and built a classifier and a model to be able to help with the counter wildlife trafficking program that they had. So this was just, this is where I'm coming from, that, find something that you're passionate about, see how you can apply your skills there. So yeah, you're not limited by jobs.
Yeah, so rightly said, like, I mean, sports is one of the example where kind of AI has been used. I've also heard some use cases on AI about agriculture. Like, I mean, taking that point ahead from the traditional one, agriculture, crop irrigation, keeping eye, and those could be the sectors where AI has been adapted. So that's something is a key. The other things, if the student is entering in this industry, I would say stick to basic, learn about your communication skills, and your core fundamental knowledge is definitely needed. That's the one. And if you are strong with your basics, I think you can survive. Try and embrace the technology. Don't get afraid from it. Like, "Arey, AI aa gaya, what is that? I'll lose my job." Don't do that thinking. Rather, make it friend and adapt it. That is what a mantra I would say here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So adaptability, I would say it's not just for y'all, it's even for us. Let's be realistic about it, right? The traditionally, when I entered like almost 10 years back in FMCG world, it was very different to what it is now. The roles are being reimagined, as it's mentioned, and redefined as well. So we never had something called as AI engineers, data scientists. Uh, we are predictive analytics expert. We are talking about ethics and compliance in charge, and security, cyber security. There's so many things that's happening. So adaptability, yes, it's a two-way thing right now. Even now, again, I can take the leverage. I can leverage on what I sort of spoke about, campus internships. The RNRs are changing because the demands are also changing outside, right, with the students. How the colleges are shaping up in terms of curriculum, because that's how the whole country is also shaping up. There are a lot of GCCs that are coming to India. There are a lot of setups happening in Hyderabad and two tier cities as well. So RNRs have changed in the last 2 years, especially after COVID, and that is where you see all these new roles coming up. So the only way even we look forward, me working in an organization, is getting used to that change. And AI today is part of it, where it could be something that we get, start working with. SAP was at some point in time. So this will keep changing. As a student, I would say, come with an open mindset. Bring, as I mentioned, bring your thoughts, and whatever is doable, try to do that. Don't try to force fit anything because there is something available right now. That is also a way of looking at it. Else what will happen, we'll try to build something extraordinary, nobody wants to actually use that. End of the day, in Hindi they say, mileage kitna deta hai bike, that's how it simply works. So are you going to give me my ROI? Yes. Will you help me make my decisions faster? Yes. Are these tools going to help me do that? Then probably yes. Or then probably you can still stick with what you have. That's how I see that.
Right. So yeah, one thing we all agree is that AI is going to change the jobs. Right. Roles are going to be redefined. Roles, jobs are going to evolve. And in this climate, in this situation, who is our friend? That's what we need to think about. And I think that that friend is self-study. So gone are the days when you could study in college, come out and then apply it for the rest of your life. As roles and your tasks and your required skills keep on changing, you will need to keep on learning continuously. And learning is not a habit that the day our exams are over, we stop the study. But that comfort is not there. And what I would say is that if you can study only half an hour a day, and study can be reading a book, it can be taking a online course, or it can be watching videos related to the subject, any kind of study. I'm talking about after your college is over. I'm sure you are studying a lot right now, but you won't do that once your college is and you get into your job. So while you are doing your job, if you can study only half an hour a day, then you actually beat 95% of the people. So that's I think the best advice which I know that I can give.
I would say one point, like there's a saying in English, unlearn to learn. So unlearn that's what is not useful, or discard it, and try to learn and embrace new things. That's what we should have a mantra.
Yeah, thanks. I think from a student's point of view, I think so many roles, as you all said, new roles are emerging, and we have also seen in the past that some of the students have specifically, right from the time they came, they had a very high interest in sports, and eventually they landed up, maybe it may not be at that time, at the time of placement, but after a few years, they are a sports analyst or something. So definitely, new roles, finding new roles is, evaluation of that and selecting is a very good thing from a student's point of view. And like all of you said, we also agree that, from a academics point of view, we are making students, flexible in the sense, maybe they have to take the things as it comes, and accordingly then they can flow, because things are changing so fast in the outside world. They don't have to just think, from out to in, but once they take, and then let them just feel from within themselves. Every time if they see outside, they lose balance, and especially I think you don't have to be worried, because everyone is telling different guidances and giving. But I think with now a specific guidance given by our panel, I'm sure, you will be able to think right and select, the best for you. I think anything else?
I think in conclusion, we can say just marry your passion with AI, right? That's basically what all of you are saying, that, see to that you have an emotional EQ, have curiosity, go learn. If it's going to be shorts, to go do that, right? After that, have a podcast, do that. And just see to that you are AI ready by just being and doing what you are consistently doing, perseverance, right? Thank you very much, and best of luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much on behalf of Nilkamal School of Mathematics, Applied Statistics and Analytics. I thank the panel members and our moderator, Lavanya. And thank you students for listening to us. Do remember the last date of admission application is 26th May 2025. Please apply. Thank you.